So Phyllis Tickle made the statement, you never want to be a part of a religion that is socially acceptable or politically acceptable. It's bad for your soul. And to tell you the truth, I didn't quite know the context or what she was saying about that. So I had to do a little digging, found the Wittenberg Door website, and got a little bit more context of her comment, her attitude. So they were questioning her and said, how do you respond to those who claim we're a Christian nation? Tickle responded, we're a Judo-Christianized nation. The ethical and some of the ethic values of those traditions inform who we are, but no nation is Christian. Christian nation is such an offensive term that I can hardly speak it even. One of the biggest blows to Christianity's vitality and legitimacy occurred on the day that Constantine made it the official religion of the empire. Nobody in his or her right mind would want to be a member of a socially acceptable religion. It's very dangerous for the soul. A nation is in the business of doing Caesar's work, not God's. There's a distinction we get from the New Testament between religion and politics. She goes on to say, that's not to say, however, that one shouldn't vote according to one's personal beliefs. All of us do that. But it is to say that one should never expect the state to function in accord with passionate faith. It wouldn't. It can't. It shouldn't. That would be a confusion of roles. And in that, I think that I would agree. And as I look at the example of Jesus in the New Testament, we find Jesus talking about giving unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. The Pharisees were trying to trap him, and he asked for a coin. And we are familiar with that story. And Jesus knew their evil motives. He said, you hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Here, show me the coin used for the tax. A tax, something political, something of the government. And so they gave him a coin. And he asked, whose picture and title are stamped on it? Caesar's, they replied. Well then, he said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. And in that, he's creating a distinction between what the state does and what faith does, the role of each. In the Gospel of John, we see another example of Jesus refusing to get swept up into politics. In chapter 6, he had performed some miracles. And in verse 14, when the people saw him do this miraculous sign, they exclaimed, surely he is the prophet we have been expecting. When Jesus saw that they were ready to force him to be their king, he slipped away into the hills by himself. Another example of Jesus refusing to be caught up in a socially acceptable religion. In my own personal story, I've pastored for many years, preached for many years, and there's been times over the course of that experience where I've had Christians come to me and want me in my position as a pastor, in my role as a pastor and public speaker, to be swept up into politics, into what's socially acceptable religion. One fine older couple, I love them dearly. She had posted on Facebook why the pastors of her church weren't addressing such political issues. And after about 10 minutes of having to calm myself down, because of course I took it personally, I responded to her that Jesus isn't about politics. Jesus is about transformation of the heart, transformation of a person. He's about redeeming and healing and restoring things that government could never do in the way that only God incarnate could do. And hopefully I at least articulated my position of why I don't preach politics from the pulpit. And I tried to express it with grace and in love. But the danger, I believe, in getting into a religion that's politically acceptable is that it actually distracts from what is true faith. It gets us wrapped up in worldly things. It gets us concentrating on things of the world, mechanisms of the world, governmental politics, trying to change the world through that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a veteran. I fought for people's freedom to vote. I think it's extremely important. I haven't missed a voting cycle since I was early 20s. I think it's a duty. It's a responsibility if you're a citizen of the United States, is to vote. But to realize that's not what really does the change. We can do address minor issues, I believe, but when it comes to the soul of man, only Jesus can change that. So there you go. There's my thoughts on maybe my at least slight agreement with Phyllis Tickle, and it's dangerous for the soul to be wrapped up in a religion that's socially acceptable.